Right, ma'am.
Jai Hind and welcome to Shaurya Tales Warrior Series. ये नई सीरीज हमने शौर्य टेल में शुरू की है जिसका नाम है वॉरियर या योद्धा. And in this series, we are going to be in conversation with the brave hearts. Brave hearts who have lived by the credo, duty, honor, courage. Just to put things into perspective, warriors are not born. That's my personal take on it. I think warriors are made through trials and tribulations, through sweat and pain, through victory and defeats, low points and high points. One thing that defines a warrior is the one who bashes on regardless, the one who keeps the target in focus at all times. And today, in this first episode under Warrior or Yodha series, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Colonel Rohinton A.K. Manek. Welcome, sir.
Yashika, ma'am, to you and to your viewers. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir.
Firstly, ma'am, I think you have selected the wrong person. I am not a person that you are looking for because you have used beautiful terms for all the soldiers of this Indian army. This army is one of the armies which I feel very, very proud of, not for my lineage, because I am generations in the same regiment, but for the acts and the deeds, like you have said, that we have performed, not only during peace, but also during war.
Yes, sir.
And it is sad that sometimes we are forgotten and only remembered during times of war. So now, ma'am, tell me, how do you want us to proceed?
Sir, it is, as we all know, that we are celebrating Golden Jubilee of 1971 war. And so this गुफ्तगू जो हमारी आज हो रही है सर, ये जो हम आज गपशप करेंगे in this Yodha series, I would like to see that war through your eyes. Because you were in this war not just at the time when balloon went up, sir. That is from 3rd to 16th. You have been telling me, sir, that you were part of this war for almost a year. That is from April 1971 to March 72. That is much before the war started and much later when the army went back into barracks. You and your proud regiment 4 Guards was there. So, sir, please tell me, what was your role before the official announcement of this war, or as we say in Fauji term, when the balloon went up? What were you doing in Manipur? What were you doing in Agartala and Tripura and right up till IB? How was it, sir? How were those days before the war? How was Indian Army preparing? Over to you,
Terrific,
sir.
ma'am. Terrific. I'll take you back a little bit, ma'am, to you and your viewers. My unit, which was the Sikh Halai Battalion, was deployed in the Mizoram on the Burma border. In the headquarters of Mizoram, that is Aizawl, there was a battalion called 4 Guards. We hadn't met. Sadly for me, sometime in 69-70, there was an incident in our battalion and I was airlifted for disciplinary case to 4 Guards, 1st Rajputs. At that time, there was no talk about a war going on. And I was attached like disciplinary cases being progressed. In the meantime, in March 1971, there was elections in Bangladesh. And as you all are aware, the Awami League led by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman won a victory, which was a tremendous, tremendous victory. Yeah. By all rights, Mujibur Rahman should have been made head of the unified nation. West Pakistan, being West Pakistan, had always exploited East Pakistan. and they point blank refused to give the chair to Mujibur Rahman, which created tremendous pressure on the people of East Pakistan. There was a genocide in East Pakistan by the West Pakistan Army, which was there, and it was miserable. We had refugees swarming into India from all along the border, which was a very, very porous and open border. At that time, when we were in IGIL, we were fighting Mizo hostiles. We thought that when these refugees are coming in, this would give us an opportunity to cross over into the Chittagong hill tracts and curb the Mizo hostiles who were being actively armed and supported by the East Pakistan Rifles, which Pakistan is even doing today in the western sector. We were very, very keyed up to finish this task once and for all. Sadly for us, on 2nd of April, that is one day after All Fools' Day, our battalion was suddenly told, absolutely suddenly, that thank you all very much. You all are not needed in Mizoram, and you all are now moving to Agartala. Okay. Immediately, the battalion started moving on 2nd April, and by 3rd, we had concentrated in a place called Lichi Bagan in Agartala. Okay. Ma'am, we were disappointed, is putting it very, very mildly, because like I told you and your viewers, we were geared for war. Agartala was a totally different ballgame. It is bang across the border, and the stories of refugees bringing in, there was genocide, there was rape, there was hunger. We had people streaming in. It is unbelievable to imagine. Surprisingly, by then, we started also having people of the East Pakistan Rifles, what they were known as the East Pakistan Rifles, deserting and coming into our country also. I think the government or then the army realized that this is a good time to utilize these people, whereas the refugees could be taken care of, fed, clothed as best as India and the world could, because aid was coming into us. But we thought this was a good time for reprisal, and we started training the able-bodied Bangladeshi refugees who were prepared to go to war, or were prepared to fight the Pakistan army. From April onwards, we carried out some raids, we carried out some roadblocks, we carried out harassment of the Pakistan army across the border. And day by day, our numbers increased. And day by day, we realized that the capabilities and the spirit of taking revenge was very strong in these people. Fogarts then started what we termed in our own language as the phony war. Okay. From April, we started what we call the phony war. And during this period, some of the major actions that we fought with the Mukti Bahini, we were calling them the Mukti Bahini, was a roadblock at Mukamia, a raid at Mukundpur. We did some hit and run on the Pakistan position at Sejamura. It was very funny that the RCL, which is one of our heavier infantry weapons, we used to tow it with us on bicycles. With the help of the Bengalis, we also attacked a post, a border outpost called Betumia. Okay. This was going on, but it is very funny that we were most of the time dressed in lungis, which was the national attire of the refugees, and banyans with our weapons and our web equipment slung over us. I think we were quite a hilarious sight.
I'm sure, sir. I am sure this is the whole sight that it is painting in our mind. Shows actually the what do you say, the oneness of the purpose, from olive greens to lungis, but going ahead with the target and the training exactly, of Mukti Bahini cadres.
A task was given and a task had to be carried out, whether it was in lungis or in uniform.
Right.
But
sir.
I must say that we were a disappointed lot because we thought that we are going into war as war we imagined,
Sir.
which would be a shooting war with the Pakistanis on the other side.
But sir, having said that, four guards had amazing role to play when the mighty Meghna had to be breached. I mean, the whole incident of General Sagat Singh, Corps Commander 4 Corps, doing that air recce, wherein his chopper came under fire of enemy. I
Yes.
mean, that gives goosebumps to everyone. That one of the bullets managed to graze his temple. और माने
Yes.
उनके यहाँ से खून ऐसे निकल रहा था जैसे सिर पर मां रणचंडी का टीका हो गया. And this Braveheart was still smiling. But that day he knew that.
Ma'am, I think you're going a little ahead of time because
Sir.
the Meghna River came too much later.
Sir,
I will try and take you back leading to the Meghna operation.
sir,
Our commanding officer was Colonel Himmat Singh, and in Fogard we used to call him the commandant.
sir,
He was a man par excellence, according to me,
sir.
a quintessential gentleman, one who very strong likes and dislikes, and who kept us on a very tight leash. Every time he briefed us, and I'm talking briefed us means he spoke to the officers, the junior commissioned officers and the men. His guiding principles were what we should do in case we were taken prisoners, what we should, how and we should treat the Pakistani prisoners should they be taken, and what he expected from us. This was dinned into us from day one. Ma'am, I'll tell you, on the night of, we knew that we were going into war, but like when it was going to happen, nobody ever knew. On the 27th or 28th,
Sir.
Colonel Himmat Singh came back when we were in Lichi Bagan, and he got us together and he said, gentlemen, this is it. I shall now be briefing you on our task, the first task. And the first task that we had, ma'am, to you and your viewers, is a town called Akhora, which is across the border. And to reach it, we had to cross the Titus River.
Okay, sir.
By then, like I told you, when the East Pakistan Rifles people were coming in, we had the very famous Major Ziaur Rahman, who became very, very famous in Bangladesh later on, who had joined us and who had brought to us the latest maps, and he gave us a lot of information. The march to Akhora for us started what Yashika ma'am said, the balloon went up. For Fogard, the balloon went up on the night of 30th November, ladies and gentlemen, when we crossed the international border. I will tell you a story. I'm going back because I am no military historian. I do not follow too many
Most welcome,
sequences.
sir. We would love to hear these stories.
Ma'am, when we were going into Akhora, we knew we had to cross the Titus River.
Sir.
We were also told that Titus River at times has almost neck-deep water. And we were wondering that we will wade through the river, yes. But what will happen to our weapons? Because if water goes into the barrels of the rifles and the Sten guns, it will come out. But if slush goes inside,
Then it
the chances are we'll have a barrel burst. And we used to have these brainstorming sessions in the evenings with the officers, JCOs, men, all sitting and coming out with brain waves. And somebody said, "Ke andar chindi laga denge." Somebody said, "Saab uppar pakad ke le jayenge." And then the eureka moment for us came when somebody suggested, "Sir, inke uppar condom laga denge muzzle ke uppar." Very funny.
But that is what we call in Fauj for Ilaj.
I call it jugaad.
Jugaad.
Yes. And the best part is that when we told the medical officer who was with us, we had a Bengali medical officer with us in our unit
Sir.
called, I still remember him, Captain H.P. Shutradhar.
Okay.
Incidentally, he had done his medicine from the Dhaka Medical College.
Oh,
And we told him, you will get us 2,000 to 3,000 condoms. And I think Shutradhar blew it. He thought we have lost it. And he said, "Are you all joking?" And we said, "No, it's very serious. You get us these condoms." And He procured the condom. This is what I call the jugaad that he did. He visited all the hospitals in Agartala and he arranged for these condoms. They must have also been wondering what the hell is this?
I think this is a story that everyone is going to remember. You're training the Mukti Bahini cadres and roaming around that place with, you know, lungi and banyans, and then condom coming to be the savior. These are really, really wonderful stories. Sir, how did you all manage to... Pardon, sir?
And then by then, ma'am, for us, fortunately, knowing the gravity and being well prepared, tanks from 63rd Cavalry under then Major Shamsher Mehta, who later on became Lieutenant General Mehta, were allotted to us.
Okay, sir.
And we were moving, the tanks were moving with us. But somehow the Pakistanis got to know of us. And I give credit to the Pakistani artillery because they started raining arty shell on us and they were using Airbus shells which were supplied to them by the American Army, which did tremendous amount of damage because they would explode in the air.
Mid-air.
And the splinters hit our people. And we suffered quite a bit of casualties while moving up the Titus River to our first objectives before we could capture Akhora. When we were supposed to be digging in before fighting the Battle of Akhora. Digging in means digging our trenches and getting ready to attack. But because of the casualties suffered and because of the water level, the time taken for us to cross the Titus River was far exceeded than what we had expected.
Okay.
But then they said, fortune favors the brave. Had the Pakistanis caught us at first light in open air, they would have massacred our battalion. But like I said, God favors the brave. We had very, very heavy dense fog on the night of 2nd December, first light, when we came across the Titus River. That gave us a little opportunity to dig down and to sort of be safe. It's sad to say, ma'am, that moment the fog lifted, one of our companies came under attack by the Pakistani tanks. It was a very funny situation. We had these platoons on either side of a railway embankment digging down, preparing to attack. And by then the Pakistanis in the morning had realized that the Titus has been crossed and the Indians are across. So they used their tanks and they virtually brought in 4 tanks to decimate one platoon which was across the embankment.
Oh my God.
Our tanks couldn't cross the embankment because there was a railway line and it became difficult for our tanks to rally around. And Akhora, which should have fallen to us earlier, fell on the 3rd day of battle. By then, not only had we taken a few casualties, we had also lost some boys who had become prisoners of war. Ma'am, I'd like to tell you over here another very funny incident, that Fogard is 1st Rajputs. It is one of the older battalions of the Indian Army. And it was way back when General A.A.K. Niazi, who was the chief of the Pakistan Army in Bangladesh, had also served with this battalion.
Okay.
When some of our boys were taken prisoner on the night of 1st and 2nd, along the chain of command, General Niazi too must have been informed that we have taken prisoners from Fogard's 1st Rajputs. He at once said that this is my battalion and these boys will be taken care of. That was to his credit. Otherwise, these boys would have been massacred. Also, ma'am, I'd like to tell you here and to share with your viewers that Fogard's is a mixed class composition and we had troops of all castes. We had Rajputs, Sardarjis, Jats, Muslims, and a few Gorkhas too. Sadly, it was the Muslim prisoners who were, our boys who were taken prisoners, were treated very, very badly by the Pakistan Army. As to why they were helping the Kafirs. We were known as Kafirs, non-believers. It was only because I think General Niazi had passed the message down that these boys were ill-treated initially, but subsequently were taken to Dhaka, which is another story which I'll come to a little later.
Sir.
Ma'am, I'd like to narrate another funny story which your viewers would smile at.
Sir.
Company commander at Akhora was Major Chandrakant, was subsequently awarded a Veer Chakra also. That is again going a little ahead in time. But all Indians like to go to the loo early in the morning to relieve themselves. And for 2 days, whenever Major Chandrakant tried to make an effort to get out of his trench to relieve himself, artillery shell would come down on him, raining down. And it was a funny sight to see Chandrakant with his pants down running. It was over here also, ma'am, like I gave credit to the Pakistani artillery observation officers who were bringing down very good fire on us. We had very good observation post officers with our artillery also. But sad to say, in the first few days, we lost 3 of our artillery observation officers. They all died either due to machine gun fire or due to air splinters.
Yeah.
It was a very tragic thing.
But sir, I would like to really ask you one thing here, that battle progresses as it progresses, right? But during the entire course of it, the soldiers have a thought process that is going on in their heads. आप लोग तो 1 साल से ज्यादा तक इस लड़ाई के अंदर थे. Either you were preparing for it covertly, overtly. What was going on in your mind, sir? I really would like to understand that human angle of it. क्या चलता है एक फौजी के दिमाग में जब वो लड़ाई के मैदान में होता है?
I was coming exactly to that point. I was coming. For me and for all the officers, JCs and men, we are all from the same stock. The thoughts that were going to our mind, well, pehle to yaar, let's hope we can dry our shoes and socks and our uniforms. And for people like me who were smokers, can we get a decent dry cigarette to smoke? And where is our next hot meal going to come from? We were not interested in Dhaka. We were interested by Hamari. Where will we get our dal sabzi? Because for 2 days we were lasting out on shakarparas and puris as and when they were coming.
That is actually the stuff that keeps a soldier going, the thought.
Dhaka was nowhere in anybody's mind, ma'am, till Akhora fell. After Akhora also, ma'am, throughout the war, we really did not know. We knew it was a progress. Push, push and push. But push and push and push to where? I suppose only the commanders on top knew where they were taking us.
Okay.
You had brought out this subject, ma'am. It is a very nice thing that you have brought out, the crossing of the Meghna River. When Meghna was crossed by us, too much wasn't made. Now, subsequently, history is teaching us that to cross the Meghna River was firstly a beautiful strategic effort. Because if we went across the Meghna, the Pakistanis never knew that Meghna could be crossed.
Yes.
For your viewers, ma'am, the Meghna River is not like a normal small river or a stream. It is like an ocean. I'd like to also tell you here, ma'am, while we were crossing the Meghna, where you said General Sagat, when he carried out his recce and bullets were flying, we had tanks, like I told you. And everyone said, PT-76, amphibious tanks, ye to cross kar jayega river ko. These tanks were made by East European countries or East European rivers. They did not see that there is something called the Meghna. When these tanks came to the Meghna, even Major Shamsher Mehta realized, oh hell, this is like a bloody ocean.
Oh my God.
But how to get across? And it is jugaad, and it is to the local commanders thinking. And he told our commanders, he said, sir, don't worry. I will move my tanks upstream kilometer or 2 kilometers. I will float them down the Meghna because crossing directly will not be possible. And because my engines will heat up crossing such a broad river, wherever I get these little islands, ma'am, this Meghna has little sand and grass islands.
Okay.
We will go and cool our engines. And this jugaad again worked.
Again jugaad.
Yeah, you call it jugaad. Some people will call it tactics. General Shamsher Mehta now realizes that it was a combination of tactics,
Exactly.
luck,
Thinking on
and
your
jugaad.
feet. Thinking on your, I think that is what is training all about. That is what
Exactly.
is, exercise. It makes your mind go like a muscle memory and makes you deliver when it is needed. Sir,
Also, I'll tell you, ma'am, now that we
sir.
are talking about the tanks,
Sir.
at Akhora, we had a young Armored Corps officer, Lieutenant Raj Mohan, a very officer with a lot of, all young officers have a lot of dash and daring. And this young officer, when
Sir, you
Akhora
too,
was
you
not-
were just a subaltern at the time of war, and
Yes,
you
ma'am,
were also just young officer.
young and dashing. Thank you very
and
much.
dashing.
And dashing. And Raj Mohan had charged with his tank. His tank was hit. Raj Mohan was burnt very, very severely.
Oh.
We lost his tank. But the Pakistanis also had PT-76, ma'am. And in spite of us losing tanks, when the war finished, I was planning to talk about this a little later. Fogart's 1st Rajput with this squadron of 63 cav came out with more tanks than we had gone in for. Because we captured the Pakistani
more
tanks,
tanks.
and we used their tanks against them also.
Right, right.
Also, ma'am, I'll tell you here, I was the mortar officer.
Sir.
And to carry mortars is not so difficult, but to carry mortar ammunition, we required a lot of porters where the Mukti Bahini helped us a lot.
Yeah.
But they were not used to being shelled. So the large numbers of them ran. And we lost a lot of mortar ammunition, which we required throughout this 14-15-day battle. Luckily for us, again, the Pakistanis had adequate stock of mortar ammunition, the same that we were using. And many days, we used only their ammunition.
You used their ammunition and shelled them only.
Shelled them only, yes, ma'am.
Sir, it keeps getting interesting. But मैं आपको यहाँ से थोड़ा jump मार के आगे ले जाऊंगी, sir. Because
just take me across the Meghna, ma'am, because I'll tell you also Air Force. The Air Force people realized that for them also it was something new. They had also never done some operation like this. It was nobody, I don't think any army in the world has crossed a river like this using helicopters.
Yes, that's what I wanted to speak about. The heliborne operation that you did. How was it?
Yes, ma'am. By then, like you correctly had brought out, recce's had been carried out for the launch pad and for the landing ground for the heliborne troops, which was done very, very well. By then, the Pakistani Air Force was virtually out of action. And we got helicopters in from 110 helicopter unit at Kumbigram in Silchar, who came to our rescue. The first flight, each flight was of 4 helicopters. Normally, a helicopter would carry 10 to 12 men. But because of the loads that they had to carry, they were carrying more than 16 men to the helicopter. But to our discomfort, they had removed the boom doors, that is the rear doors. So when we got into this helicopter, it was just one big cavern. It was like a gufa ke andar ghus gaya and there was no door supporting it.
And how many men, sir?
16 to 18 men to a helicopter.
Oh my God.
And 4 helicopters to each flight. And it is to the credit of these pilots, ma'am, they were flying virtually without any instruments, without any landing lights. The only thing they requested us that when we are landing or dropping you in the evening across the Meghna, how will we make out? Again, Jugaad, Fogart decided that lanterns and lamps will not work. So the boys have food in the mess tin. It is a little dabba with a little handle to it. So they used to dig sand, put it into the mess tin, put kerosene and light it. And we lit the dropping zone with mess tins filled with sand and kerosene.
I must say, sir, that the Jugaad is actually the hero of this entire story that you are telling. How people used their ingenuity, the presence of mind and alertness that makes the entire operation so wonderful and, of course, successful. We did not go just by the book.
It is not always that it is the officers doing the thinking. There were JCOs
Exactly.
who were experienced, old, wizened old men. There
Sir.
were young sepoys who used to come
Sir.
out with this beautiful ideas. There is a story, man.
Sir.
We had captured a Pakistani prisoner who was carrying large amount of money.
Okay.
And Colonel Himmat Singh had told us there will be no case of molestation or loot.
Sir.
This boy felt a little greedy or tempted and he picked up this bag and he told his company commander, ki, "Dekho sahab, isme itna paisa hai." The company commander said, "Isko phenk de." The moment he threw it across into the river, an artillery shell came and luckily it fell in the water, so it got embedded and did not explode. And that Jawan says, "Thank God I threw that bag. Nahi to ye bomb to hamare upar hi phatna tha."
But sir,
Our boys-
what you have said,
basically are God-fearing.
sir, what you have said is actually the hallmark of Indian Army. What you're saying
Yes,
about
ma'am.
Colonel Himmat Singh कि कोई लूट नहीं और कोई रेप नहीं, और इसी के ही एकदम opposite में we have Pakistani army who raped lakhs of women, who ravaged the entire East Pakistan.
Country.
And there, you know, in contrast of it, we had these army soldiers.
Ma'am,
Hats
you'll be
off.
surprised when
Hats off to
we
this.
landed in. They had raped students, young girls who were university students. It was an inhumane thing. And I'll tell you also, which might not sound very nice, I don't think their soldiers and our soldiers think like this. I think these were instructions given to them by a very dirty superior officer who said to do these kind of acts. I don't think otherwise on their own men would have done
Men
it.
would do that. Yeah.
Yes.
But
I
sir,
will also
I will,
tell you, ma'am, I'll
Sir.
also tell you, ma'am, over here about how
Sir.
luck favors the brave.
sir.
When we crossed the Meghna, a company of ours, which was supposed to what we call in military language, marry up with us, took a wrong turn and landed up smack bang in the middle of the Pakistan DIB headquarters. By then, the Pakistanis had heard the helicopters coming and going, and they realized that these troops have come. The Pakistanis thought that the whole brigade has crossed over, and all fight went out of the Pakistan army after that.
Sir.
Meghna River broke their backs, not so much militarily, but psychologically, I think
Yes.
they were on the.
I think they lost it then.
Exactly.
So last question I would like to ask you is,
Yes, ma'am.
when the war was done and dusted, 93,000 Pakistanis surrendered, and it was a victory of gargantuan proportions.
Ma'am, I'll cut you short a little bit over here. It is a little nice to say, but when the Pakistan army surrendered and there were shouts of "Joy Bangla, Joy Indira Gandhi,
Sir.
Joy Indian Army," the women, the local women came out in numbers, means they were en masse. Or the gussa, and a woman's gussa, I suppose you would know, or your viewers would know. They came armed with belan, jo roti banate hain belan. They came with sickles, they came with bhalas, they came with everything.
Get that.
And they just wanted to lynch the Pakistan army. I think the Pakistan soldier was more scared of them than they were
Yes.
scared of us.
And I've also heard that they were allowed to keep their personal weapon so that they
We
could
told them, man,
save themselves.
you all don't reach the PW camp, you will carry this weapon, but you will use it only on our instructions.
What a
I will
what
also
an
tell you
amazing
here
sight.
that when we spoke, during this thing, I bumped into a colonel from the Pakistan army. I still remember his name, a Colonel Vilayat Hussain from the Pakistan Signal Corps.
Sir.
A gentleman. And he surrendered and he spoke very nicely. And he said, if and when, young captain, you go back and you reach Dhaka, please do go and tell my wife that I am absolutely all right. And luckily for us and for him, I didn't meet his wife much later in Dhaka. And I did tell her that Colonel Vilayat Hussain is absolutely all right. Unfortunately, he's a prisoner of war.
That is a soldier's code, sir. That's a soldier's code you
yes.
did. But sir, I really would like to hear the story of that day when that victory parade was being, taken out in Dhaka and Mujibur Rahman was given the Guard of Honor. What is that story, sir?
Far ahead. On the first night itself, first evening of 16th December, first, 4 guards were selected to give a guard of honor to General General Arora, our Eastern Army commander, who was flying into Dhaka.
Sir.
So we had to select boys in that uniforms, wet uniforms, the best looking, and the ones with the best uniforms to give the guard of honor. And by then, the guard of honor was over. The prisoners were being taken. We were being billeted. It is to the credit of our commanding officer, Colonel Himmat, when everybody was doing their thing.
Yeah.
The first thing Colonel Himmat Singh said, he said, I am going to Jagannath Hostel, which was in the University of Dhaka, because he had learnt that our prisoners from our unit were kept at Jagannath Hostel.
Okay.
He took a jeep, a Pakistani jeep. He went to Jagannath Hostel, and fortunately for us, we got all our prisoners of war back safe and sound. They were emaciated.
That is Chetwood Credo exactly, sir. That is Chetwood
Yes.
Credo exactly.
By evening time, when things had quietened down, we had billeted our troops. We had seen to that they get a proper meal. I decided that I need a drink, and I went to the Dhaka Intercontinental Hotel to get a drink, which was a distance about 7-8 kilometers from where we were billeted. Then gradually the Indian Army was not an occupying army. We decided immediately after the surrender ceremony was signed, the extra troops will start pulling out of Dhaka,
Okay.
pulling out of Bangladesh itself.
Sir.
And it was 4 guards was retained in Bangladesh, ma'am, till March. On 22nd March, we were ordered or directed to give a guard of honor to the first time to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, who was then to unveil the Bangladeshi flag. Again here, Bangladesh flag was always there, but the Bangladesh, they had an anthem which was Amar Shonar Bangla, which was written by Rabindranath Tagore.
Sir.
But to set this to military music required some brains. And it was to our credit, the credit of the Indian Army and the Indian government, that they flew in Mr. Harold Joseph. Mr. Harold Joseph was the director of the military music school at Pachmari,
Okay.
where the Army Education Corps Center is.
Sir.
And he came and put Amar Shonar Bangla to military music, to which Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was given the farewell parade salute. Sheikh Mujibur Rahman also came, and he has signed our visitors book, which 4 guards still treasures. There are a lot of memories, and there is a lot of memorabilia which people have. Sadly for me, ma'am, I am left with 2 memorabilia. One is a memento of 4 guards, which still I proudly keep, which says, push, push and push to Dhaka Manik.
Okay.
And the second one is when I was a membership card to the Dhaka Club.
Oh.
I still have this membership club. I don't know if I'm ever going to Dhaka and showing in this card, which expired in 1972, December, but it is still retained with me.
And sir, also all these memories that you are sharing with us, they are the memorabilia
memory,
of another
ma'am.
kind.
We had ladies, because by then civilian flights had started coming in.
Yeah.
And our commanding officer's wife, Mrs. Himmat Singh, had come. She wanted to see the parade.
Yeah.
But while going back, we just couldn't get her a ticket to go back, because there were people flying out from Bangladesh, left, right, and center.
Okay.
And it would be very embarrassing, because she told me, Manik, get me a ticket.
Hmm.
And I said, yes, ma'am. And I went to the Dhaka airport, and they were telling me no ticket. And then the adjutant and I, Captain Vijay Diwan, we used to call him Glucose, we lost it. And we told that chap, if you don't give us a ticket, we'll report to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, okay?
As if he's the best friend.
Yes. And we got a ticket from Mrs. Himmat Singh.
Amazing.
Today, ma'am, there are memories. A little thought also needs to go out to those brave hearts who didn't come back, but at least their families got a closure. Ma'am, I would like you and your viewers to please go back to those of our people, and there are 54 as last count, of whom no hisab kitab is there. They are unknown prisoners of war taken by Pakistan, and even though we repatriated 93,000 people, we could not get these 54 brave hearts back. It is sad. That is what I would like to end my part of the story with, ma'am.
Sir. And certainly we all join in raising this chorus. Missing 54 is like a saddest and the bitterest end to this whole saga of 1971.
Exactly.
For which no one has an answer. The governments of the day have promised and not delivered. People have been raising hue and cry, but I think we as citizens must remember our duty. It's not
Exactly.
only this कि जब लड़ाई होती है आपको फौज तभी याद आए, आपको फौज का वो हर एक सिपाही, हर एक दिन, हर एक ट्रेनिंग का वो मोमेंट, I think should be taken by this country as a debt. What army man does goes beyond the call of duty and delivers. This entire story, I mean, it must be harrowing. It must be very difficult in those times. लेकिन आपने जिस तरीके से आज उस पूरे 1971 को अपनी आंखों से हमारे सामने दिखाया, शेयर किया, I have no words for it today, sir. And I'm sure that everyone who will listen to this story will relive it in the eyes of a young boy who became a man during this course of war. So Colonel Manek, our salute to you, our greatest respect to you, our greatest respect to Colonel Himmat Singh, the man who said कि दुश्मन की ऑर्डिनेंस फैक्ट्री में ऐसी कोई गोली नहीं बनी जो हमारे सिपाहियों के शरीर को चीर सके. To men like these, we owe everything that we stand for. To every officer and Jawan of 4 guards, we pay our respects, and to you, sir, great gratitude.
Thank you very
sir.
much, madam. Thank you, ma'am. Jai Hind to you and to your viewers.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.